All right, Fredericton, this is your host, Louis Vandervalk, joined today by Jonathan Ramirez of Monkeycakes. And this show is sponsored by Integrity Junk Removal and Demolition. Jonathan, welcome. Excited to have you here.
Hey guys, and hey Louis, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It's a privilege to speak with you. We've seen each other and talked to each other through social media, but this is the first face to face, so it's kind of cool.
That's right. No, it's
You're even more handsome on Zoom.
Oh man, I appreciate it. And
must be using a filter. I need to find out that filter.
Yeah, we'll get you connected after the show. we should have sorted that out at the beginning. No, that's it's true. We've known each other. I think we've been connected for over a year and a half or so now.
Yeah.
As everything started happening, I started networking, with people online last year. But yeah, Jonathan, for those that don't know, there's probably not many that don't know who you are and what you do, but bring us up to speed on what it is that you're about.
Yeah, it's all good. You throw out the phrase, you hear it, a serial entrepreneur. Some people hate it, some people love it, but it's in my DNA. I come from a very humble Mexican-American family from Southern California, originating in the Guanajuato area of Mexico. My grandfather and my grandparents to my uncles and aunts and my own parents were all field workers back in the day, field laborers, and working the crops in the very hot California summers and harvest. And they just built into all of us kids a very hard work ethic. And my father decided to go out on his own and leave that and start his own business. This is back, way back in the day. We're talking late 50s, early 60s. And took him a long time. I'm the last of 8 kids. And so, of course, there was a lot of mouths to feed. And he eventually became a very successful environmental contractor in Southern California. And I'm proud to say that I'm the only child of his that followed his footsteps in opening businesses. Everyone else went into academia and music and different types of work vocations and much better schooling than me. But I'm the one who had that DNA I just love starting and building businesses and developing relationships and trying to make a success out of them. Some have, some haven't.
That's awesome. And you're the name of the current one there is behind you. Tell us, what we can expect of Monkeycakes.
Well, it's everyone always asks me, where does that come from? Do you make monkey bread or what's going on? First, look at me. I'm the monkey man. And how that came about was I worked in radio for many, many years. And in my studio, I had a photo from the San Diego Zoo of we had gone to a family reunion, not to the zoo, but the family took a trip there. And I had backstage, it was just how it happened to be. We got VIP access to the orangutans. It was really cool. Nice. And so I'm hanging around a bunch of orangutans and I make a monkey face and someone takes the photo. And it was in my radio studio here in Fredericton. And these little kids were going through a tour and one kid saw it and said, called me the monkey man. And then someone without my permission went on air and said, stay tuned to the Morning Jungle with Monkey Man Jonathan Ramirez. I wanted to punch the guy. That would have been a fight where I'm come from. Anyways, the listeners loved it. It turned into the Morning Monkey Show. By the time I left there 10 years later, I had a bunch of stuffed monkeys that kids would drop off. I had a couple hundred stuffed animals that people would drop off. And so when I was looking for a name for my bakery, I remember that it was very kid friendly, the word monkey. And that's what we were doing, is building a family value based business, catering to kids. So I went with the word Monkeycakes, and who knew? 10 years later, this fall, it's stuck, so it's a successful gamble.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, I've been following you and I didn't really know where the name came from. So that's cool. Hopefully some others were hearing it for the first time here as well.
Yeah, exactly. You never know, what you're dealt with, and it's all on how we react to a situation. Yeah. And I could have reacted that much differently, and rightfully so. But I just took the high road, and it turned into a whole enterprise for me. So I'm glad I did.
Turned into a branding moment. That's cool. That's
Cool.
cool. So you're busy, I see you working with, customers, consumers, as well as, business to business. What's your favorite part of working with businesses here in the Fredericton area?
Number one is just basically following their stories and building those relationships. I've always been very people oriented and was always, until I got older, I was always trying to be the life of the party. I'm tired of that now. I just want to be alone. but back in the day, developing those relationships and seeing what makes entrepreneurs tick and what makes their business a success or a failure, and trying to emulate that in the successes. And early on, I just had these, I call it my three networks. I was a music director for a church. I worked in retail, and I worked in radio. Three separate areas of my environment, and somehow they all kind of collided. And when I started Monkeycakes in 2011, I was able to draw off of all of those relationships to become profitable first year, which I'm very proud of. But number two, realizing a lot of those early friendships that I made and relationships I made come to help me later on. And I've networked with a lot of those business owners. A couple of them mentor me still to this day. And so dealing with businesses, you just never know what you're going to get, and not everyone is up for networking and developing those relationships. It's all about, developing their own business. And I get that, but there's many people who are very open to sharing their success story and how they built it. And, I just try to glean, steal, whatever it is you want to call it, to try to put it into my brand and my business to make that a success as well.
That's amazing. That's cool. Yeah, no, it's I loved what you said about, seeing how people's brains tick, because we're all wired a little bit differently, right? The crazy people that start their own businesses. So awesome. So what do you think is the best kept secret in the Fredericton area? I love hearing everybody's answers, but I'm
the best. I don't want to say, because then people will start crowding it. So a couple of years ago, it was the year that I got tapped to go on Food Network United States, a show on the Food Network. And I was recording it was in July. I went blind in my left eye in May due to asthma related things and coughing and all that, blood vessels. It was nasty. Had surgery later on and it fixed everything. So that year was just a terrible year. And I realized how out of shape I was with my respiratory and all that, causing the asthma and all the problems. So once I got that fixed and wonderful doctor in Halifax took care of me, restored all my vision, I told my wife I got to do something for my respiratory because I got to fight this asthma, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was going to start riding my bike again, and I can make it 2 and 3 blocks. And this fat chef was just, I'm done, man. I can't do it anymore. And I was at a dealer and I found a hybrid bicycle. And it has an electric motor that I can kick in whenever I get tired to continue the journey. So right now I'm pedaling about 80%, throttling about 20%. Long story short, I've ridden that bike over 1,000 miles. I've gotten rid of my asthma. My doctor said in my last test that my lungs were just as good as his. And so the best kept secret are all the trails around Fredericton. You can hop on a bike, or if you want to walk, but you can hop on a bike and you can pretty much go anywhere. I didn't know these existed. And they're just some of the trails go behind some of the really wealthy homes, and you can see their backyards, and they're absolutely gorgeous. They're along the river. They go way over into Marysville. I've ridden every trail around, and I didn't know about this until I decided to start riding my bike. So to me, that's one of the best kept secrets about Fredericton, is that it's a very connected city. And I should have known this because NB Trails out of New Brunswick is tied into the Canada National Trail. And a couple of years ago, they successfully completed their last little piece of the puzzle, and there's now a Canada-wide trail. And they hired Monkeycakes. Someone from Ottawa called me to make this huge television style size cake. We charged them a whole bunch of money, but this thing sat on a table. It was massive. And what we did is we recreated all the different parts of our province, from the Hopewell Rocks to the, the rivers, the mountains, and we had people riding bikes and walking, and it was a really cool cake. And I should have known then, many years ago, man, there's some cool trails. But again, as a fat chef, I wasn't looking for trails.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, the trails are amazing. The trail system is fantastic.
It's unbelievable. It's incredible. And the people who don't know about it and don't take advantage of it, man, get out of your house, go check it out. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So circling back to the business side here, what advice would you give to people when it comes to networking? Because, obviously that's something you love and enjoy and have used to your advantage, and I think it's so important.
You know what? It takes all different types of personalities to network, and not everyone is an extrovert. Some people are introverted. That really doesn't matter. If you can just be kind, that's my number one thing. Kindness goes a long way. It really opens a lot of doors. It breaks down a lot of barriers. You might look different, act different. Obviously, my accent is a lot different, so I can be a little off-putting, if I'm going to speak in my loud, American style accent to some people. But when you're kind, people get past that and they'll open the door and they will have that meeting. They will talk to you. They will take time. So I would say be kind. And then what's worked for me is transparency, meaning I don't share everything on, my business page. I keep some things close to the vest, but I'm pretty transparent with the good, some bad, a little bit ugly, but I'm very transparent in my personality and the things that I like and the things that I don't like. And that's worked for me because it's kind of connected me to my customer. My customer may not, either agree with me or have the same likes and dislikes, but because I'm being transparent and they see into the window of who I am, they can connect with that, and it's more than them just going to a bakery and buying some sweet product. They're kind of investing in me and meeting me, the monkey face, the face behind the logo. And we're developing those relationships. I'm developing relationships with my customers. I tell people, this is really cool. I've done a will you go to prom with me cupcake, to their wedding cake, to their first child's birthday cake.
That's awesome.
It's a beautiful thing, man, because to me, that shows that, one, I value my customer, but it also shows that they value us in return, right? And when you get that relationship, that give and take between both parties, it's because I'm transparent, I think, that has helped me to develop that through my social media posting and, even just a face-to-face. So the two things I would recommend that anyone can do is to be kind and to be transparent with who you are and what it is you're trying to do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, no, and the bit that I've followed, that definitely comes through. So that's awesome. Who else would you recommend coming on here and chatting? We're looking for other top Fredericton business owners like yourself. Who
have you heard of Go-Go Gymnastics?
I've seen them around. Yeah.
She's got a story, bro.
Okay.
We did an event for them a couple years ago, and she's been a customer off and on, and I got a chance to talk to her a little bit. And when I was at their event, it was at UNB, I believe. Wow. She was a university student taking a business class, did a business proposal for her professor, which was Go-Go Gymnastics. And the business professor said, you're on to something, and you're hitting something that this target audience needs. You've hit something, lightning in a ball kind of a thing. Kind of like what I did with a cupcake shop, 12 years ago, 10, 11 years ago, when I started thinking about it. And she just filled a niche, and she has built a business that is strong, is thriving, is growing, even through a pandemic. And she's just got just amazing story to tell. And if you want a storyteller, from starting from nothing to something bigger, even bigger than Monkeycakes, that would be a great contact. And then one of my mentors I would recommend, and you may have had him, I don't know, is Rivers Corbett.
I haven't had him on this show. No, I had him
Oh
on my other
man, the
podcast.
guy's a gas. Be prepared. Have longer than 15 minutes because man, he'll just. But he's number one, he's engaging. He's funny, handsome guy. He's much more handsome than me on video, but very smart. And he's had ups, he's had downs. And talk about transparent. He'll share with you the good, the bad, and the ugly, and give other entrepreneurs some guidance onto what to do, what not to do. I saw him speak at a entrepreneur event in Halifax. He was on the same stage with the guy who started a East Coast Lifestyle, and you're talking someone who's a behemoth company as a kid, a university student, and then you have Rivers, who's done everything and had successes and failures and national chains, stuff like that. I would definitely recommend him as well.
Awesome.
There's two for the price of one.
I love it. I love it. All right, to wrap up here, this has been a really fun chat, and we're gonna have to have a longer chat at some point for sure. But chat about your first sale, or the most memorable sale in one of the many businesses you've been a part of.
Wasn't my first sale. It was my first rejection. So really quick, we started the plan in 2010. It was just a missions trip fundraiser for me to go to Guatemala. I was going to sell cupcakes out of my house on Facebook, maybe raise like $300. I raised like over $5,000, and my wife said, "You hit something." Yeah. Cupcake shop, Fredericton, and I'd already been thinking about that because we go to New York a lot and visit cupcakeries down there. Anyways, we opened the business November 2011. About my third or fourth customer comes in, and he wants a peanut butter cupcake, and I tell him, "Well, we're a peanut-free facility because my wife has a severe anaphylactic allergy, could kill her. So we've decided to be peanut-free." And he said to me right in my face, "That's the most stupid thing I've ever heard. You're gonna fail." And I'm like, I just opened this week, I left the job, I left insurance, and I'm jumping off a cliff to start my business. Don't tell me that, man. Yeah. And I was just, that night I cried about it. And I was just like, man, maybe he's right. Fast forward, Lewis, all these years later, we're the only peanut and tree nut free bakery in town. We can get into any birthday party. We can get into any daycare, any school. They seek us out because we're peanut free. I remember his face. I wish I would have got his name, but if he's going to come back, I'm just going to smile, a big fat smile. So that's my most memorable. One of my most memorable ones is it was actually a rejection, and it just built a little fire in me.
Wow, that's brutal. Wow. Well, if he's probably never gonna show his face again. Well, Jonathan, this has been extremely enjoyable. I wish we had longer. I've got another couple recordings right after this.
All right, man.
But
we need to get together for coffee sometime. Just hang.
Let's do it. So, guys, this is Jonathan Ramirez. You've been listening to the Integrity Minute, sponsored by Integrity Junk Removal and Demolition. So, Jonathan, hang tight. We'll just wrap up off air here, but appreciate you.
Thanks, Lewis. Cheers.